What's one of the dumbest things you've ever spent money on? When I went on a school field trip to Washington DC back in middle school, I bought a $2 bill at a souvenir shop for $20. SMH. I've gotten those at banks. Just give them $2 1s and they'll give you a $2 bill. Leave for CKS. That's a shame they practically scammed a kid for 18 bucks. I'd had a few drinks, TGIF, and wandered into a Williams-Sonoma store in a state of euphoria. There I saw a special edition KitchenAid stand mixer made in bronze that was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. It was on sale for $999. Naturally, I bought it, but because I'm a single guy who doesn't bake, it's just taking up much needed counter space. No time like the present to learn. Well, that's highly debatable if flour and yeast and other various baking supplies are as unobtainable currently for OP as they are for me. I hope these ucks enjoy their, presumably, pallet-sized loads of yeast.
This video is brought to you by Fiverr, the biggest, most affordable, and overall the best freelance website there is. It's a place where you can hire anyone from writers to designers and everyone in between for as little as $5. It's absolutely the best place to save time and money for your projects. But if you want to take your business a step further, we would highly recommend Fiverr Pro, a place where you can work with verified, hand-vetted, exceptionally talented professionals that have, with their work for companies like Google or Apple, proven to be the best in their category. Link in the description below.
I was just a few weeks out of basic training and bought one of those family lineage with the shields on it and description. I blew $500 or so bucks just to find out it wasn't even accurate. LOL, classic boot. And I was booting hard. Did you get it tattooed on your chest with your basic training graduation date underneath so you'd look cool driving shirtless in your new 29% APR Dodge Charger? I was drunk and bought Monster Ballads off an infomercial, and I paid an extra $20 for rush delivery, because I was drunk and needed it ASAP, and it showed up a month later. I've always wanted to meet someone who bought music off an infomercial. This is a big thrill for me. My sister bought one of those, now that's what I call music CDs. Actually had some cool tunes on it and played it on our stereo. Then Napster and LimeWire kicked in and we couldn't give a single uck about it. I had now 4, but I got it at some CD store. There was this guy named Don Lepre who sold money making kits, like how to make money with classified ads. I think I invested about $350 and received literally nothing of value. I was young, and being stupid. Looked him up tonight to remember how to spell his name. Turns out he killed himself with a razor blade while in jail in 2011. I have to say, his TV commercials were very convincing. Thankfully at the time I was young and broke, so I couldn't pay for his nonsense. If I had enough room on my credit card, I would have. I finally figured out that he implied lots of income, but the testimonials only talked about revenues. A blanket that makes you look like a giant burrito. It was super thin and of poor quality, not to mention not big enough to cover me. Now I'll never look like a burrito. As an owner of this burrito blanket, yes, it is small, but it is very soft and very comfortable. I think there's more than one on the market. I'm betting yours is better than mine. After it went viral, a ton of Chinese factories started pumping these things out. Wish and AliExpress are full of them. A lot of are pretty terrible quality. I spent $40 one of those amusement park booths where you had to throw darts at balloons. For some reason, I picked out this really ugly 7 feet tall frog stuffed animal. It's in the corner of my closet and still scares me when I'm half awake in the morning. I had one of those from Six Flags. I won it early in the day and my dad was so pissed. I named his Froggy McHopperstein and kept him for over 10 years. My mom finally got rid of him, saying she couldn't spare that much space for him anymore. RIP. Here's the deal. When I was in 8th grade, my class went on a field trip to Six Flags. I played the ring toss game where you had to toss the rings on the bottles. I won on my first bucket and picked out a 6-foot stuffed whale. This was at like 9 in the morning and I had to now carry this with me all day. A couple hours later I played the ring toss again and won again. So this time I picked out a 5-foot stuffed dog. Now, as a 90-pound 8th grader I couldn't carry both of these with me. So I enlisted a friend and we carried them around and had to leave them at every single ride we went on. They were heavy. Finally a guy asked me if he could buy the dog, and I told him sure, for $50. Took that money back to the ring toss game and lost all of it. The whale was cool but I never did anything with it other than having it just sit in my room. Worth it because I was king of the ring toss. Depending on the Six Flags location, they can store your game prizes at specific stores, usually near the entrance of the park. Former employee. When I was like 14 I bought a pack of intentionally mismatched socks that were really expensive. Like, only one of each pattern. Could have bought twice as many normal socks and just mismatched them myself. I did this too, but to make it worse I bought 2 packs so that I could match them. This is some galaxy brain shit right here. Dobby wants to know your location. Bought a pager. The clip snapped. I took it to where I bought it. We only cover the pager, not the case. I walked outside right in front of the window and spiked the shit out AF it. Walked back inside and said my pager is broken. Did it work? After I returned it. Yay. Thanks, Dad. A copy of Cory in the House for the Nintendo DS, except for $30 in 2019. Edit. Math gang antics involved. Bold move. A while ago some YouTuber posted a video that was an anime review of Cory in the House, and in the video he tries to explain how Obama used Cory in the House to promote Elliot Rodgers to commit a mass shooting using psychological warfare, and I've never been able to find it since. Anyone know what video I'm talking about? Is this the video you're looking for? I was pretty high one night and bought a pull net handle, one of the 16-foot metal ones, in order to turn off the living room lights from the couch. Edit. Added these as a comment but it got buried. Sorry, I've been sleeping, haha. I'll try and answer all the questions I've seen. Most importantly, it does work. It's heavy when fully extended, but there's a rail I can balance it on between me and the light. Takes a bit of practice. I also do remember thinking about getting smart lights, but honestly I'm renting this house and it's a wall switch, so I didn't want to take it apart to make it smart. For $25. I can't say I regret this one. It sits behind my couch in a little gap, so it's not too much of an eyesore. I haven't broken anything yet. Emphasis on yet. I'm sure I will. No, I don't have a pool. Edit 3. I didn't buy smart bulbs, and won't in the future, because it's 10 bulbs on racks. Cheap, easy, and I was high. Edit. Thanks for the gold. Does it work? Because I need to know. Buy a Bluetooth connected light switch. Switch it off from your phone. Edit. Oops. A Bluetooth huh? Edit. Damn, this comment blew up. I get home from work, make a silly comment and go to bed and wake up with 1.6k upvotes. I bought a make-it-yourself music box with a series of cards to punch out the notes and then insert so you can play whatever tune you want. Thought I could make my GF a special gift. Then I realized that I can't read music, and when I tried to punch it by ear it sounded bloody awful. Edit. You see, this is why I love Reddit so much. A whole heap of helpful messages and comments, and just 6 hours later I can now make something that is vaguely recognizable. Here you go, Reddit. You earned this, thanks everyone. The trick to that is using MIDI software. The way it's formatted in MIDI is basically the same thing you punch on the paper. This is a good technique, but you've also got to make sure you know the key of your music box. I punched some cards for mine thinking it was chromatic. It was not, and when I played my cards it sounded like I was trying to summon some kind of demon. Oh gosh, I've done similar when I was transposing music and had similar results. You definitely have to know the key for sure. I bought a timeshare. Winner. The only winner here is the timeshare seller. Not quite. The sheer exploitation and mindfuckery extends to the sales staff as well. Glengarry Glen Ross levels of pressure tactics, manipulation, and intimidation. A lot of them drink their own Kool-Aid and take some of their compensation in timeshares themselves. Absolutely sad. The only winner is the corporation that owns the timeshare property. A pocket. It was back when me and my wife were still dating. We were out of town for a concert, a festival, or maybe just the weekend, and there was this big, heavily advertised and kinda posh adult shop just a block or two down the road from our hotel. The last day of our trip, we didn't have anything planned, so we ended up going into this shop. They had a whole floor devoted to dildos and vibrators, and my wife found one she really liked. I started joking around about how they have all these toys for women and nothing for guys, and one of the shop employees overheard. He brought us up to the 3rd floor and showed us this largish section that was all toys. It was like 4 whole rows, each one 20 feet long, packed to the brim with silicone. They had feet with S, hands with S, jits with and without S, headless and limbless torsos, mouths of all variety, and a whole line of head to toe, life-size dolls. Most of it was really expensive, but I managed to find this one that had a glove attached to her and for like $40. So I bought it. We paid for our purchases and went back to the hotel to have fun. My wife really liked her toy, and after a while she asked if I wanted to use mine. I thought about it for just a second and then said number, until my 6U found it last November. This is gold. Purchased to traumatize your future children. I bought a fleshlight a long time ago, when my ex-wife was having a high-risk pregnancy and sex wasn't allowed. It sucked. Not in a good way. You'd have to take it out, warm it up, be careful about what lube you use before you could use it. Then when you were done, you had a big greasy mess leaking jizz all over the place. You'd have to disassemble it, get all of the baby batter out of all the little nooks and crannies inside, dry it, and apply cornstarch to it before you could put it away. The post-fap shame as you were cleaning it afterwards was real. I used it like twice before just switching back to my hand. It didn't even feel that good. It felt like a cool to the touch soft girl who was super loose and not into it at all. I once went to a novelty thrift shop that had a ton of random shit. Ended up spending $10 on a framed picture of Count Dooku, Darth Sidious and Jango Fett from Star Wars since my GF thought it was funny. The frame recently broke and I found out after seeing the back of the picture it was from a calendar when Attack of the Clones came out. Someone just cut this picture out of an old calendar, put it in a frame, and my dumb behind voluntarily spent $10 on it. You bought the frame. At least it's a fun decoration for when we have guests. It actually has been on the side table by our front door for several years now, so a lot of guests see it and comment on the framed Star Wars picture. My GF just says it's a picture of her grandpa. A lot of places will put random photos in frames so you can imagine them. They aren't trying to trick you. You bought a frame. The calendar photo was likely them trying to be cute but not actually thinking someone would buy it for the calendar photo. Chef Boyardee beefaroni. One summer, because I was hella bored, I bought some Chef Boyardee beefaroni and put it in my friend's mailbox as a prank. He didn't find it but his parents did, and they asked their neighbors who did it. He suspected me at first, but I managed to get him off of my tail. Now our neighborhoods were fairly close to each other, so I could be over there in a 50-minute walk. Every night, I walked up to their neighborhood. Walking anywhere at 2 am is creepy as hell, but the Boyardee bandit does not stop for demons, and put a can of beefaroni inside their mailbox. After about a month, they call the police to find out who's putting beefaroni in their mailbox. Luckily the police really didn't care that much and just told them to get a camera, which they eventually did. Meanwhile my friend is telling me all of this from his perspective. Right. So I usually know what they do before I strike. So I start covering my face and pretend to hunch over. I have no idea where this camera is, so I can never be too careful. They call the cops again and give them a profile, and now the cops are looking for a crippled beefaroni bandit. After a solid 3 months of this shit, one of the baggers at the store gets word somehow and starts getting suspicious because he sees me buying tons of beefaroni. He confronts me. I tell him the truth, and I shit you not, he starts helping me beefaroni my friend's house. We're putting it all over, hiding it in the lawns, porch, fence, you name it. Halloween rolls around, and I dress up as Chef Boyardee. I go to my friend's house and say, your daily subscription to Chef Boyardee beefaroni has ended. Would you like to renew? I hear laughter in the background, and it's the store clerk. Turns out he recently started dating best friend's sister, and that's how he heard. Truth be told, I don't think I've ever been punched harder than when my friend found out. Good times. We still laugh about it from time to time. Dude, if I could give platinum I would. That is hands down one of the funniest comments I have ever read in my whole time being on Reddit. I'm kind of tempted to try it myself as my friend has a camera on his house and has a sense of humor, plus I think it would make him feel better because we haven't seen each other for a while. Props to you for doing that. I think we were just here for the newest bit of Reddit history. This is up there with poop knife and ducking retard. Best comment of the day. I used to work for an affordable apartment complex. Cannot tell you how many times I had to let rent a center in to pick up furniture. Also, repos had to stop at the office, show the paperwork. At least once a week someone's Dodge Charger or Chevy Camaro was picked up. The saddest was a lady that took her gigantic tax return, $9K, and used it as a down payment for a Dodge Challenger and to furnish her 2-bedroom apartment. RAC picked up all the beds, living room furniture, TV, vacuum, WTF, and that evening her car was repaired. So pay your bills, people, and don't buy a new freaking car if you can't live anywhere besides a low-income complex. Her kids were devastated. All their friends in the complex saw it go down.